we're not going to officially start until 10:30, but we'll see who shows up.
Directly in the camera.
You're like, and I'm moving.
Now that we have the, and I respect, I actually really respect the mask rule for the office, but if I'm gonna be sitting here drinking coffee, I don't want to just be on.
And we're more than 6 feet away.
Yeah.
I mean, I get what they're saying. I totally get it.
Yeah.
But the Norman City ordinance says if there's less than 26 people and you're able to social distance, then a mask isn't required.
Okay, then that's good.
So we're okay. You and I were more than 6 feet away. We're fine.
Yeah.
And it's not gonna offend me.
And I'm qualified to get the vaccine as soon as they're available.
I started it. Nobody's logged in yet, but I started it.
Okay, cool. So we'll see. I keep waiting. They're appointed every day I check.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I need to get one because I'm a friend of mine's wedding. And so like, we're gonna require all of the party to get the shots or something before we can meet up. So that's this.
I don't know how they're gonna do, how they're gonna handle the people that have already had it.
Yeah,
And are therefore
round 2.
not very likely to catch it again or
Oh.
spread it again.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
I don't know either. It's so weird. So, because I have a friend who works with somebody who's now the world record holder for the number of times they've caught COVID. 4 times.
4 times. 4 times.
Tennessee, yeah.
See, I know a guy that tested positive way back in like June. And he's been donating plasma here in Norman twice a week, every week.
Yeah.
They're paying him $100 a time.
Yeah, I've been looking into that because I'm like, that's not a bad
And
side thing to help pay for the real estate business.
he's actually, they're testing him for the antibodies before they do it.
Yeah.
And as long as he has the antibodies, they're pulling the plasma and paying him the $100.
Where does he go?
He's still going. I think it's CSL.
CSL? Okay.
Yeah, if you go to the OBI, they'll take your plasma, but they're not paying you. They want you to donate it for free.
If I'm gonna sit there for 2 hours.
Right? Yeah, he goes at like 5 o'clock in the morning or something ridiculous.
Because I'm thinking like that's not a bad time to like be on your laptop and like look at the market or like do some
Right.
reading and then you'd be getting paid for it.
Yeah.
I don't know that I'll do it, but it was one of those like monkey brain
Right.
thoughts. It's like, oh, if I'm,
And it's $100. And he can do it. He said you can do it twice a week.
yeah.
So he's getting $200 a week to do it. Now it's taken 4 or 5 hours
Yeah,
a week.
but
But
that's
he-
$50 an hour.
He's saying, hey, I'm paying down or off credit cards with this money
Yeah.
or whatever. So
I
it's-
have friends that got through undergrad donating plasma.
Yeah.
So if you're able to do it.
Got one invite.
Oh. Yeah, I figured I should come to this because my off time is next week. I should know
Yeah,
what I'm doing.
it's super easy.
Yeah. So will it go straight to my, I guess you'll answer all the
Yeah.
questions, so I won't even ask because that's your spiel.
This is supposed to be a half-hour long class. I don't know, this is gonna
Okay.
take half an hour.
Yeah, because PC starts at 11.
Yeah, he starts at 11, so.
It's so crazy. So cool. I expect this. My brother lives in Idaho. But except the snow.
Right.
I don't expect it here. But the craziest snow driving story I have is my brother took us out to a hot spring in Oregon while we were in Idaho. We drove to Oregon, and while we were there, a blizzard rolled in and buried his truck.
Oh.
And so we're sitting in the hot spring, and we're just like,
here.
I'm nice and warm, but I'd like to leave sometime.
So we had to take the truck out of the snow. And then the snow, and it's Oregon, so there's like no trees, no mountains, no nothing, just white. Just white. So what we ended up having to do to get back to Iowa, back home, is my brother would run in front of the truck so that we would know where to drive. And then we would follow behind him running,
Oh,
because we kept driving off the road.
yeah.
Thankfully, my brother is insane. And
Are you doing off time talk?
Yes.
What time?
10:30.
now,
I just want to hear it again.
yeah. So anyway, so took us 3 hours to drive out of Oregon. Going on slow, but you know.
Has anybody been on I-35 yet?
Yeah.
Oh,
You?
On the way here from Moore, it was fine.
All right, I'm going up to drop off all these sleeping bags and coats and stuff, so.
I think all the main roads are good.
Okay.
It's like the little streets.
That was at like 8:30, and I don't think we've got a little bit of snow. I don't think it's gotten any worse.
No, it's better.
Yeah.
It's better than the ice. Snow is always better than ice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is why I'm here today and I wasn't here.
Okay, I don't know if anyone else is coming, but we'll go ahead and start. If y'all see anybody, a notification up at the top that says someone's waiting for an invite, let me know.
Yeah.
If I miss it. Op time is super easy. When you sign up for op time, you're going to have to come to a team meeting, one team meeting, or one training during the month. And we cover that because hopefully you're coming to at least one of the PC group or one of the other trainings that we got. And it's super easy with Zoom nowadays. Basically, the call is going to be from, most likely it's a sign call.
Okay.
Someone is sitting in front of a house or drove by a house or they saw a sign somewhere and they're calling about it. Now the Ashley at the front desk or the answering service, whoever happens to answer the phone, what they do is they try to get that call to the listing realtor because the listing realtor generated that sign call, that lead. Sometimes they don't know where they're at. I can't tell you how many times I've talked to people where they're like, well, I'm in front of this White House in Moore. Well, that at least Moore narrows it down, but you're gonna give me a little bit more information. So if you get a phone call, for me, the answering service emails and texts me the info. If it's the answering service. If it is Ashley at the front desk, sometimes she's just transferring the call to whoever's on op time. She can't figure out who the listing is for. And we'll get them for other Keller Williams office, Keller Williams Platinum or Green Meadows or whatever. The only reason you would need to send it to the listing realtor is if it is someone in our office.
Okay.
So say someone calls about Kristen Wasowski's listing. Then if you figure out where they're at, you say, well, that's Kristen's listing. I can give you the basic information. If you want to set up a showing or whatever, I can get your info get your call info, your phone number and everything like that to Kristen, and she will call you and set up an appointment. Or I can give you Kristen's phone number. Again, if it's a listing for an agent here in the office, you're supposed to pass that along to them because they generated the call.
So, because their advertising generated the call.
Yes.
In the office, and then they end up being both ends of the deal.
Or like in Kristen's case, it would be her buyer's agent, whatever, but yeah.
Okay.
We have all that information when they call, Like, or do we have to look at we'll look at the property?
Sometimes, I'm telling you, sometimes you have to be detective and you gotta figure out where they're at, what listing they're in front of.
Okay,
I just had this happen last week and I did it wrong. I should have done it differently, but it happened to me. I got a call, later I got the number from Ashley, said call this person. I called, they had been in Tecumseh, they had seen a sign, it was in front of a house. They had nothing, they had no address. And I was like, well, do you know anything at all about like who the sign was? No, I just know it was a KW sign. And so I kind of went looking and what I found was the only person who had like numerous listings in Tecumseh was Jennifer Rush and the Rise Group. And so I called Jennifer and left a message going, I just got a call from a person saying, you know, here's a property, do you want to call me? And I shouldn't have done that. I should have just said,
oh.
here's the person, this is their number, this is yours, right?
Yes,
Yeah, I didn't.
but you didn't do bad by calling Jennifer and saying, hey, I got this call, he wasn't even sure which property he was calling about.
Yeah.
But you didn't do it wrong necessarily.
But I thought I was working my own business at that point.
Right,
Yeah.
But we're not.
we're not.
Good.
Again, if it is if it's a call from a listing in our office, pass that along to them. If it's another Keller Williams, because like in Tecumseh, there's a Keller Williams Green Meadows office in Shawnee. They may have had it listed.
And then I'm not obligated.
You're not obligated to pass that on to Green Meadows.
So it could be your client.
It could be your client.
Okay.
Does it ever happen that someone gets a call and they end up assuming that person is a buyer's agent? And when it's a listing in our own house?
They assume that they're a buyer.
Well, you know, like if I had called that person back and said, yeah, I found a house, let's get together and meet, go look at that house. And all of a sudden I'm working with that agent like I'm their buyer's agent. I mean, that would be not to the agreement that we have.
Right.
What would have happened at that point?
At that point, if you don't pass it on, basically, you have to contact the listing realtor, whoever it is, and work something out.
Well, I'm glad I know that, and I'm not going to make that change. That would be embarrassing.
Yeah, you have to work something out because some of the agents depend a lot on the sign calls. And, you know, like, I can tell you, for example, Taylor and Kyle, they spend probably $500 or $1,000 on marketing for each listing. So they've got money invested. So they need to or want to get their money back. Other than just some Century 21 agent or some Remax agent selling it.
They have a whole group text about like when somebody calls one of their sign calls, who gets the person. They have
Right.
It's funny, Janice will have yes pre-typed in her phone, so she just.
Really?
Yeah. So they have their own.
Okay, so that's
Yeah.
good to know.
But again, if they're not represented, like last night, I talked to one of the newer agents in the PC group, and she said, I was on phone time, I talked to this lady, and she wants to buy a Homes by Tabor listing, and she's done the research, she's not working with another realtor, jackpot.
Yeah.
$400,000, I think is what she said, in that general range, free buyer.
How did this person know to call us if they didn't see a Homes by Taylor sign?
It was Homes by Tabor, so Homes by Tabor is a builder.
Yeah,
Tabor?
Tabor.
I'm sorry.
yeah.
That's right. So that, they are not listed by anyone in our office.
Got
And sometimes they're just Googling, or they saw it on Zillow and they saw a Keller Williams agent, and then, oh, I'm gonna call the Keller Williams office. This one they called the office number.
Probably because they just know they're thinking, oh, real estate, I mean, an agent that buys this house.
Yes.
And then the Keller Williams is first thing that comes to their heads.
Right, sometimes they're Googling, realtors in Norman or
Right.
real estate offices in Norman. It happens like that sometimes.
Yeah.
And that's what you want.
Mhm.
That's $400,000 buyer with
Mhm.
very little effort. Didn't have to find that buyer herself.
Mhm.
So I understand that better now. So instead of like it just being your day to field calls and get everybody that's coming down the pike,
Right.
you're not. You're front desk answering service for most of them.
Right.
And maybe,
And now I think that Ashley does a really good job in general of figuring out which listing they're calling about
Mhm.
and getting that off to
the right person.
to the right person.
We get whatever's
Sometimes-
left over from that.
Yeah,
Okay.
but sometimes, we all know buyers and people are impatient. They'll leave a message with whoever she transferred it to.
Mm.
What if they're in a listing appointment? What if they're showing houses and they can't call within 5 minutes? So then they call back and then call back and then call back. I talked to a lady that said, before that said, I called 4 times. I just want to know if this house is available.
Yeah.
That's why I'm telling people in general, you are a licensed realtor. You can give them the basic info.
Yeah.
You can tell them it's listed for this, it's pending and not available, or it's not, it's active and still available or whatever. You can give them the basic information, but if they want to set up an appointment or if they want to talk to a realtor about potentially buying something else, pass that along to the listing realtor.
Okay.
If they're in our office. That's the emphasis, if they're in our office.
And then it's better to be in the office for your off time? To be here in person?
Not required.
Okay.
As long as you have access to the MLS and you can
Yeah.
look up the properties while you're talking to them and you can answer their questions and speak
Yeah.
intelligently, then great.
I plan on being here. I know that that's also the first day of family reunion is when my off time is. So it's next Monday. So I'm just,
My first op time day, I never got a call.
you never got a call
No.
today?
And
Yeah.
so, I mean, I think it's pretty normal.
I plan to be here to watch, will we have family reunion up on
Yes,
the, okay. But in
the main
the event,
events,
in the event that we get snowed in, I
right,
just want to be prepared to just, either way.
Is that start next week? Is that next week?
yeah.
I think I should be signed up. I commented on the Facebook page a while back.
You maybe check with Ashley or
Okay.
Sheree just to make sure that you're signed
Yeah,
up.
I think I claimed a spot, but.
All right, that's actually the only question that I had. That was the thing that I was like,
But
not sure.
That's the basic general gist of
Okay.
op time. Again, you have to come to a training class
Mhm.
or a team meeting once a month. And that starts over every month. So if you, for example, you're busy and you don't make it to a team meeting or any of the trainings in March, well, you're not going to be eligible for op time in April because it's the previous month.
Can't imagine that's going.
Right.
All right, that's all I need.
That's it. We're done. Unless you guys have any questions.
No, just 20 minutes until PC.
And Crystal is still doing her thing for us.
Okay.
She's stuck at home. She didn't want to drive on the roads. No big
That's
deal.
fair.
She's going to join us on Zoom.
Okay, awesome.
We're good to go.
Okay.